Predator's Errand. Preface. A tribe of skinwalkers known as the Hanway have lived in the northern Rockies for thousands of years. They can trace their heritage all the way back to the first medicine men to forge an alliance with the plant spirits and animal totems of the Greenwood and the horn goddess She is Shadow in greenwooded places. Their connection to the Greenwood magic makes them immune to poisons and gives them perfect knowledge of the properties and uses of all plants and herbs. One of the blessings of the horn goddess bestowed upon them heightened senses, the ability to communicate with spirit totems and familiars known as animal kinship, and the power to walk in the form of beasts, and so their medicine men came to be called wolf witches. Part 1. Godspeed on the Devil's Wings. There is a stark elemental beauty in a mountain sunrise that is beyond the power of language to encompass or articulate. It resonates within the feral hearts of the savage and the wise, calming and centering the primal mind, condensing and distilling the lust and fury into a reality-dissolving state of ecstasy that opens them up to visions and insights they never would have had on their own. I ride the trance for a long moment. The scent of pine and lavender on the breeze brings me back down nice and slow and fills my head with a mandala of images and emotional memories from my childhood, some bitter, some sweet, some both. When Eli and Betty Hollis found me abandoned in the woods in the winter of 1807, they named me Isaiah and raised me as their own. I got no clue who my real parents were. The truth is, I don't much care. Eli and Betty are my parents, these mountains are my home, and that's an end to it. I'm a hunter by trade. Name the critter and I can trap it or harvest it, including humans. Work takes me all over hell and gone, but every year I end up back here to visit the folks, call on a couple old friends, and drink my fill of last year's blackberry wine. First stop on the way back to the folks' cabin is Silver Stag Lake and the home of Jacob Ghost Raven, my oldest friend, and the man who taught me to properly appreciate a sunrise. Jake lives up here with a big silver timber wolf named Smedley. Folks around these parts go to him for healing and advice on when to plant and where to hunt. His mother was Blackfoot and his father was a shaman from a tribe of skinwalkers called the Hanway. He disappeared around 1807. Some folks say they cut a deal with the Sasquatch to go live with them between the worlds. Others say they shed their human forms permanently and now live as beasts in the wild. Either way, they just up and vanished without so much as a fuck you, let alone any word about why they were leaving or where they were leaving to. The sight of Jake's place chills me right down to the bone. The yard looks like a goddamn slaughterhouse floor. No signs of life, just bloody snow and broken flesh. I gather my wits, check my guns, and head for the tree line to make my way in from the back. Whatever went down here was over hours ago. I ran into 3 sets of tracks coming in from the back. Looks like there were 8 men all told. I make my way toward the cabin, 20 yards from the porch and ankle deep in what's left of the 3 boys who were laying around in pieces. I hear movement inside. I stop cold and level my rifle at the door. Then I hear a familiar growl in my head, then a gruff voice. "Is that you, Isaiah?" I take a knee and set the rifle beside me, and sure as shit I see the bloody muzzle and blue and golden eyes of Jake's silver timber wolf Smedley step out of the shadows. He bolts across the yard and drops the hand he has in his jaws in front of me, tail wagging a mile a minute. He whines and tries to lift me with his bloody tongue. I throw my arms around his neck and roll him over. He smiles when I scratch his chest. His smile makes me smile. I've never been happier to see the damn monster in all my life. Smedley and I sniff around and try to sort out what the fuck went on here. The 3 men in the yard were definitely taken out by Jake. They must have pissed him off. There were body parts and piles of gore for 20 yards in every direction. Inside the cabin there were 2 more, one with his head next to him on the floor, and one with no guts and no hand. Smedley must have gotten hungry. I find a gun loaded with tranquilizer darts and one of the dismembered hands in the yard. The other 3 men must have got the drop on Jake while he was dealing with these clowns, and Smedley was occupied with the 2 cock knockers in the cabin. Aside from the tracks that go off to the east where they drug Jacob away, the only lead I got is a custom Colt revolver with a medallion set in the grip that has a symbol on it that I saw a fortnight ago in a mushroom vision. The evil memory makes my skin crawl and my heart race. The vision was infested with beasts and freaks. It was about danger and deception, about lust and power, loss and desperation, domination and submission, bondage and control, about hunting the corners and edges of what is possible for the means to achieve what is unnatural and forbidden. I shake off the anxiety and get back to business. I build a pyre. After I help myself to the money, weapons, and ammo, I burn the bodies. Then I grab Jake's special occasion bag and Smedley's harness and head east. The tracks are less than a day old, and the snow is my friend for once in my life. Jacob has pulled my fat out of the fire more times than I can count. Now it's my turn to go save his ass. 5 miles northeast of Jake's place, the trail goes cold, not far from Lazy Beast Creek. The creek runs crystal clear and ice cold, about a quarter mile from a network of caves where the local bears hibernate. I head for an old friend's place nearby. He may or may not have a horse, but he definitely has whiskey. I've known Cletus McCree since I was a kid. He came up here around 20 years ago hunting for gold. He found it in spades. Matt could live like a king anywhere in the world, but he lives up here with a bloodhound named Linda and a still named Connie. He says he likes it up here because it's quiet. His place is sitting on a spring of sweet water, which he uses to make the best fucking whiskey in the Rockies, and water his gardens. He has one garden for his belly and one for his head. Isaiah says, "How the fuck are you grumpy old bastard?" Cletus says, "I reckon I can't complain. Get your ass in here and pull a cork and have a smoke with me, you mangy vagabond." Cletus reaches down and pets Medley and says, "Where's Ghost Raven?" Isaiah says, "I'll tell you when I find him. Let's get that drink." Alright, Cletus and Isaiah are in rocking chairs, having a drink. Medley and Linda are on the floor with their feet. Cletus says, "So someone just drug him off, huh?" Isaiah says, "Well, not exactly. You know how Jake feels about bloodless victories." Smedley growls and smiles at Cletus from the spot on the floor at Isaiah's feet. But at the end of the day, yeah, there were 8 of them. I guess the 3 survivors managed to get the drop on him and hit him with trank darts. Cletus says, "I didn't think shit like that worked on him with all his greenwood plant spirit nonsense." Isaiah says, "It doesn't, or it never has before anyway. These motherfuckers were professional. They had top-of-the-line hardware and custom ammo." Isaiah pulls out the Colt and hands it to Cletus. "You see the grip? You see that symbol? Ever seen it before?" Cletus says, "Well, fuck me running. Actually, I have. Linda and I found something scary walking the creek the other day." Cletus and Linda take me and Smedley to a spot just downstream from the caves. I thought Jack's yard was a fucking mess, but this is just insane. A pile of half-eaten bears and wolves next to the creek, making the water run red. Next to them, propped up against the boulder, one of the demons from my vision. The body looks like parts from 2 or 3 bears sewn together with wire stitches and iron staples. Sewn to that, 2 big wolf heads with that damn symbol branded into their foreskulls. Isaiah sees his 12-gauge size hole in the chest and smiles and looks over at Cletus. He says, "Alive when you found it, huh?" Cletus says, "Eating one of them wolves. I reckon I got lucky and caught it off guard." Isaiah says, "Any idea where it came from?" Cletus says, "Well, you can't miss the tracks. Its goddamn left foot is a fucking elk hoof. They go off to the northeast, but I don't get paid to hunt monsters." Isaiah says, "Can I borrow one of them mules that's a harness to your grinding mill?" Okay, and they go back at Cletus's place. After Cletus hands me a pouch of buds from his garden and a gallon of whiskey, Smedley and I load up the mule with food, weapons, and ammo and head upstream. Coming from a wealthy German family allowed Algernon Crownthorne to attend the finest medical schools and become a surgeon. Immediately after finishing school in 1810, he traveled the world with a group of missionaries where he learned several different forms of primitive magic and shamanic alchemy. The rare plants and herbs that created the psychedelic ritual potions of the savages fascinated him and set him on a path to create the elixir vitae, or potion of immortality. In 1814, he returns to Europe, heavily tattooed, and his eyes have gone completely black. Upon arriving at his family estate,
In Germany, he finds it's been burned to the ground and learns that his family has been executed for heresy. He goes to the local church and goes into the confessional. The priest says, "Tell me your sins, my son." Crown Thorn says, "I'm filled with rage and lust for revenge." The priest says, "Revenge against who?" Crown Thorn says, "Anyone who hunts witches." The priest chuckles and says, "So you came back. How does it feel to be the last Crown Thorn?" "I feel like a feral god. My time in the jungle shadows transformed me." He punches through the confessional screen and pulls the priest through by his throat and holds his open right hand in front of the priest's face. There's an eye tattooed on the palm. He says, "Your family and your congregation are all witches. Burn them." The following Sunday, the priest locks his entire congregation and his family in the church and burns it down with everybody in it. So that's part one, Godspeed on the Devil's Wings. Next is part two, Broken Medicine. So, sweet water and good hunting to you until our paths cross again.